And we have a topographic map up at the top. And if you just take a moment and study this topographic map of Rock Mountain, you can see that you have a few index contour lines. Remember, index contour lines are ones that are just a little bit more bolded and they're labeled with the elevation. And so I can see that this is 1,000 feet and this is 1,500 feet. And if I want to know what the intervals go by, I can count how many lines it takes to go up this 500. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 500 divided by 5 lines. It means each one of these go up by 100. So this is 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, and then 1,500. So that means this one would be 1,600. So here up at the very top of this mountain, I've gone up 1,600 feet. You can see that. And again, anywhere along this line would be 1,600 feet. And so you can see that once I get to this side, I would then begin going back down the mountain, right? So when you see a closed loop, you know you've reached the top of something. So this is 1,600. This I'm going down. Remember, this line is 1,500, and I can follow that over here. 1,400, 1,300, 1,200, 1,100, 1,000, 900. And I see there's another little line there labeled 800. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to see if we were to take this path from A to B, we want to see exactly what this would look like. And so you'll see down here you have this place where we're going to put a profile of what the route looks like along line A to B. Now you can see over here we have another profile for C and D. You're going to do that eventually, but I'm going to help you do this harder one. So from A to B, what you'll need is you'll need a just a scrap sheet of paper, and I'm going to use this index card right here. And so I'm going to take my sheet of paper and I'm going to put it along my route that I'm going to take from A to B. And I'm going to mark this. I'm going to start at A, and I'm going to end up here at B. And so take your sheet of scrap paper, or whatever it is that you're using, and go ahead and mark your route from A to B on the edge of that. And then what you're going to do is every time you cross a contour line, you're going to mark it right here along the edge. Now, I'm going to move this back for a minute. Notice that this line here and here are not contour lines. That's just a line that outlines the lake. So I'm not going to put that down. So I can see here as a line. And I mean, if I wanted to, I could also keep track of these elevations, right? That's 900. I can see that here with this line. Then I go up. I'm going up the mountain, right? That's the 1,000 meter mark. If I were to move this, I would see that sure enough, this line right here, right? That's the 1,000 meter mark. I'm going to put that back. And then I'm just going to keep going up. And again, I could put the elevation. So let me erase that. That should be 1,100. I can put the elevation too as I'm going if I wanted to. Oh, I've hit another line. I've gone up another 100 meters. Up another 100 meters. Up 100 meters. Up another one. And here I can see I cross a line. That is 1,600. Now, if you recall, right, I'm going to put where this last line is that I've put down. When I move this, remember this line right here is the same elevation as this line right here, right? They're connected. So when I go to this one, I've hit the top of the mountaintop, still at 1,600 meters, and now I'm going to start going down. So this one is 1,500. Now this gets kind of complicated to squeeze this all in, right? Because these lines start getting really close together. I'm going to do my best here. 1,100. 1,000. And B is back at 900. Remember, if I move this and I look at B, This is line B if I want to figure out what it is. There's 800, there's 1,000, it's in between. Okay, so I have now on my scrap sheet of paper, I've got how far I went and how my elevation changed. And again, because I wrote this on here, this is going to be a little easier for me, I think, when I put this down here on this profile. But I can see that I never go any lower than 900 and I never go any higher than 1600. So along the side of this, I'm going to put my elevation. So I might put this line is going to represent 900 meters. This line, 1,000 meters. Okay, you get where I'm going with this. We can label this all the way up. I think the hardest thing about this is that these lines are so thin that it's hard to get the writing in there. And I'm going to just play match game here. So I can see at A, I was at 900 meters. So basically this is graphing. At this point right here, I was at 900 meters still. If I bring this up to my map, right, I've done these two spots right here. Now I'm going to, remember this line, I was at 1,000. So here that is down here. I was at 1,000 meters. If you recall, this is the next spot that I did, and that's right here, and that was 1,100. So I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, just continue matching my elevation at each one of these spots. Now remember, over here, when I got to this spot, I was still at 1,600 meters. And then I started going down. And you can see the route down is pretty steep. Oops. Got a couple of these in the wrong spot. Okay. So now that I have what my path looked like, I'm just going to connect this now. So I can see that when I started at A, it was probably pretty flat. Maybe it dipped down a little bit towards the lake, but I'm not really sure. I'll just put it like that. Then I go uphill. This is it's a little steep, but I can see when I got to the top, when I got to here, probably this goes up a little bit, right? Not so high that I even get anywhere near 1,700. If at the top of this mountain it gets any higher than 17, there would have been another closed loop in the center of it. So I know that up here at the top of the mountain, it might be higher than this elevation, but never 100 meters higher than 1,600 again, or else there would have been a loop. So now I'm going to go back. And now you can see that on this portion of the trip, on my portion down, that this is super steep here. And so this right here is a profile of exactly what my path would have looked like from A to B. Oops, from A to B. And I'm going to pause this for a minute, and I'm going to have you go ahead and do this for C and D. Then I'll play the video, and you can check and see if the steps that you took to make a profile of C and D is what I did. So I'm going to start here at C, and I'm going to end D. Notice D is at 1,000 meters, and notice C is at 1,500 meters. Everywhere that I see a line, I'm going to make a little mark. If I were to go through, I know that this is 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. So I see when I'm making my profile that I'm never any lower than 1,000, but I'm not higher than 1,500. I'm going to mark the side. And so each one of these lines is what I have marked with that elevation going along the side. Then down here, remember at C, I was at 1,500 meters. That next spot, as I approached D, I was at 1,400. There I was 1,300, 1,200. Oops, I'm going to cancel my shutdown here. Here I was at 1,100. And at this last spot at D, I was at 1,000. So I can see that my path from C to D is a pretty steady, constant slope when I connect those lines.